Thank you for tuning in to the Inkwell podcast. This is your host, Cloud from Mamoon 3.0. And I had some thoughts about the idea of leftover men or invisible men, men that were not even given a choice as to whether or not they would be able to participate in the dating market, the ones who were forced out. Me personally, I don't care about all of this red pill ideology, like, oh, men age like fine wine, women age like milk. And the thing is that while I don't think that's complete nonsense, at the same time, it's not helpful to inkwells because we were never given the chance in the first place. We didn't get the chance to age into anything. We weren't invited to a party. We were thrown out. We were never invited, right? That is what the core of the issue is. It's absolutely ridiculous. All of this cope about having to become a an alpha male and all of this non for what? For what? What's the point? What is the actual point? I'm not even saying you can't become an alpha male. I just don't understand why. If you have to do all of this grinding just to be able to have a chance, like while you're sitting in there in your garbage wage slaving, wage cucking job, farming money, right? The Chads and the Tyrones, they are out having all the night fun they could ever want. The only thing you could ever hope for is to beta bucks. Is that a future you want to condemn yourself to? That's what I want to know. Is that something you really want to do? Yeah, bro. Look at this, bro. She likes me, bro. No, she doesn't. She never messed with you in the first place. Money maxing, like it might be enough for you to get a girl period, but what about long term? Like, okay, maybe if you're just looking for hookups or something, that would make more sense, right? But what about longevity? What about the long term? Do you actually want to have a relationship? Some of you guys might even want to have children. Me personally, I don't want to have children. But you know what? I hate the fact that I wasn't able to choose. I wasn't able to choose whether or not I wanted to participate in the market on that level. I was never able to choose that. It was chosen for me. The decision was made for me, as I'm sure it was the rest of you. That that nonsense, it isn't fair. Yeah, let's just sit in here. Let's grind up. Let's gym max. You know, let's do all this garbage. And for what? Think about the type of woman you would be attracting, right? If she never messed with you in the first place, and I said this in my last video, if she never messed with you in the first place, but all of a sudden she's interested just because you have money, think about the type of woman you're pulling into your life and whether or not it's worth it. That might sound like, red pill cope, but it's not. It's a genuine question. Do you want to, at least when you are alone as you are, you're not coping. At least not in the sense that, you think you actually have a girlfriend. You don't. At best, you have a sugar baby, and that's it. That's even if you have enough money to support that lifestyle. I'm going to keep stressing this. Female empowerment was a mistake. Womanism was a mistake, right? Letting them into the workforce was a mistake. Letting them vote was a mistake. And it's not because I think they can't do any of these things. No, it's not because of that. It's because um, ever since, the housing crash of '08 and the Great Depression, right? What was the largest cultural disruption that we've ever seen in America and possibly other places since, the 60s, 70s, and whatnot, at least based off of my research? That's right, womanism. completely disrupted the gender dynamics between men and women. And yet, men are still expected to uphold their traditional values. Why? What's the point in that? Is that something you actually want to do with yourself? You want to be held up to unfair standards? You want to be, milked for every last resource that you accrued? And the thing is that you did it to yourself. You went in and you money maxed not because you wanted to have a stable lifestyle, but because you felt like you had to do it to get women. Congratulations. You ascended. Now what? Now what? Think about the woman that you have in your life now. Was it worth it? Would you say that she would actually mess with you at all if you didn't have money? I mean, that was the whole point of money maxing, right? That's the thing that makes me upset about all of this, because the more I watch these videos from, Face and LMS, ITV, First, Fresh and Fit, Better Bachelor, you know, even Donovan Sharp and Terrence Pop, it makes me realize that I've been wasting my entire life. Like, I was already doomed from the beginning because I wasn't getting uh, the snuggles for free, but I'm watching everybody else get it for free. I even had my brother's getting it for free too. He, for as long as I've known him, he's gotten it for free, right? I'm sat up on the top bunk, and this happened years ago. Top bunk, while he's on the bottom bunk getting poon, getting all of it, bro. I had to hear that bed rocking and everything. I feel like I got cucked. And I didn't even think about it at the time. But that was a huge problem. I was cucked that early on in life. I don't remember exactly how old I was at the time, but I think um I think I had to have been like uh 13 or 14. It was a while ago. But to think at that age I was already cucked. I had to watch him, the quintessential Tyrone. I'm talking frame, tattoos, low inhib, no mental issues as far as I can tell anyway. And he just got out of prison recently too, right? And the thing is he's able to get all of these things. He never had to pay a dime, or at least nowhere near as much as I ever had to even just not even get that result. He hardly has to pay anything, if anything. Like that's brutal. But people want to tell, these blue pill copers, they want to say, "Oh, it's not about looks, bro. It's not about look." Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. It's not about looks. My ass is not about looks. I've been seeing this my whole life. Even just looking at my dad's relationships. I mean, yes, he is an older guy, so he's dealing with women from another generation. And even then, they still screwed him over, messing up the house, taking him for his money. Like, he dodged a bullet, so many bullets. Stupid fireworks. Hate this neighborhood. But yeah, it's nonsense, man. And going back to what I mentioned about my brother coming out of prison, I'm not kidding when I say that within he ended up visiting home for a week or so, and he was only just out of prison after doing 3 years, right? And he couldn't have been out of prison for more than maybe, I would say close to a month, right? And he comes in, and he mentions this was late at night, but he mentions that he's on his phone swiping through girls, and he tells me that he needs to get reacquainted to society. So he needs to find a girl to bang. Like, this is the nonsense that I'm talking about. I know it's anecdotal, but That that is the thing that this entire channel is built off of. It's anecdotal by nature because I want to add a more humanist aspect to the black pill, but at the same time, with the way how hypergamy and mate selection and stuff works, is it really humanist or humanitarian or whatever? I doubt it. It really doesn't feel like it. But this Tyrone, jawline, frame, face, tattoos, low inhib, deep voice, alpha by every account, whether it be from behaviors or genetics, he's got it all. And he's able to think about banging girls the same way as like shopping for fruits at the supermarket. It's just a normal thing for him. He does it just to get himself back into society. He's able to think about not even just relationships, but just being a player on that level where it's like therapeutic to him. That's ridiculous. I can't even think about that. Like just to get one, right? One. That is an insurmountable task just to get one. But him, he can lay as many females as he wants and he doesn't have to do jack for nothing for it. He looks good and that's it. And it's not even like, he's necessarily a bad boy. Like, yeah, he makes stupid choices, but he's not a bad person or anything. But that's just because I know him personally. What do these girls think? His outward appearance suggests that he is a bad boy. It's all garbage. Absolute garbage. This is why I say, and I will quote Based Pluto on this until the day I die. If you aren't getting it for free, you're going to have to pay for it. And my contention is, at what cost? And is it worth it? Is it worth it at all? Is there a point where you become too black pilled to even be able to have a relationship? I might just do a whole separate topic on, or video, audio, podcast, whatever, just on that topic alone, because I think that warrants a lot of discussion. But just to give you a quick syllabus on that, my short answer is yes, to a degree. Yes, I think you can actually be too black pilled for to ever be in relationships. But some people will say, it's all in the mindset, bro. And I don't know if I agree with that statement because there will be people in the comment sections of videos like this telling you, "Oh, your attitude sucks, bro. That's why you can't get a GF, bro. You're a loser, bro." The thing is that all these losers, they're getting women because they look good. Has nothing to do with me being a loser, hardly. Why do I have to grind up all of this money and cars and houses and whatever? Like women demand more than above average. It's ridiculous. This is why I look at Japan. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the term hikikomori. It's basically someone who stays inside, total social exclusion, right? And coincidentally, it's mostly guys, at least from what I managed to find online, which doesn't surprise me. It's probably why Japan has all of these like hot, raunchy, hentai games and stuff like that, and websites and things, because it's probably a cope for those guys out there. And in a lot of ways, I almost feel like Japan is a few years ahead of the U.S. in that aspect, and that is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. The thing that made me want to talk about this is I was watching one of Better Bachelor's videos and Fresh and Fit's videos, and they talk a lot about female nature, and they have, studies showing how, maybe the bottom 20% of women won't be able to reproduce, but numbers as high as like the top 50, top 60% of men won't even have the chance to reproduce, at least not at a normal rate, if nothing else. And honestly, I kind of believe it. The numbers are obviously not that clear cut because look at how many people are on the planet, but the numbers are more of a philosophical thing in this case, which is kind of weird to say. It's not a clear cut, razor thin representation of reality. It's more like a somewhat fuzzy representation of reality. If you understand what I mean by that, because just like first said, the 80-20 rule, it's a malleable rule. It isn't literal in the sense that only 20% of men get to screw around with 80% of the women, because I don't think it's not feasible. Our population would not be anywhere near as high as it is if it was like that. The thing is that the 80-20 rule, especially if you look at Tinder and OkCupid, you know, that's where most of the likes goes. That documentary from Inkwell Maddox, the one that was an hour and a half long that I watched on rerun like 4 or 5 times. You know, that information's brutal. Most of the desire is concentrated towards the top echelon of men. Meanwhile, basically everybody else barely gets anything. Anything. And you know what? I actually have something to prove it. I know this is a radio type of thing. It's not, it's not really meant to have visuals, but you know, just to whom it may concern, I'm going to put my browser up on screen. Just got to figure out how to do it because I'm not a pro with OBS, but bear with me here. Window capture. There. Okay. So I'm going to blow this up in the video a little. Probably going to be a bit on the small side, but I'm going to show you guys a chart. You ready for this? So most relationships are, if I could actually type correctly, online. This is my favorite source for this. So, a study from stanford.edu shows that around half of all relationships are started online. So, people who say that relationships, or not relationships, that dating apps is not real life, straight cope. Absolute cope. All I need to do is actually find the graph. It's in one of these somewhere. But, it also could just be because Firefox is just, being stupid. Let's see. Let's do a little bit of reading here. Generating interaction between people that we otherwise wouldn't have. Interesting. You know what? That's actually a very interesting whatchamacallit, sentence right there. I think that internet dating is a modest, positive addition to our world. It is generating interaction between people that we otherwise wouldn't have. And as far as online friends go, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But this only just corroborates the general idea that women have way too many options. It's a dead horse, but You got to beat it. Women have way too many options, especially online. There are two core technological innovations that have elevated online dating. The first innovation was the birth of the graphical World Wide Web around 1995. There had been a trickle of online dating in the old text based bulletin boards prior to 1995, but the graphical web put pictures and search at the forefront of the internet. Pictures and search appear to have added a lot to the dating experience. The second core innovation is the spectacular rise of the smartphone in the 2010s. The rise of the smartphone took internet dating off the desktop and put it in everyone's pocket all the time. Also, the online dating systems have much larger pools of potential partners compared to the number of people your mother knows or the number of people your best friend knows. Dating websites have enormous advantages of scale, even if most of the people in the pool are not your taste. A larger choice set makes it more likely you will find someone who suits you. And we've all seen the studies about how um, uh, meeting in person has been in sharp decline since the 90s, conveniently aligned with the invention of the internet. And then when you count the sexual revolution in there and the invention of birth control, and when you look at how dating websites are almost all male, sausage fest. Like it's a huge problem. All right, let me get this stupid window off of here. This is a radio podcast, not a you know. But every once in a while, I have to get visual with this, right? The thing is that meeting through friends and family, that whole social circle max, bro, get some friends, bro. That's cope. That's so cope. Man, I really gotta adjust my mic volume here, huh? But seriously, it's cope. It's so cope. You know, like if you're the type of person like me who only makes friends with other inkwells because those are the only people that we fit in with, the social circle is a cope. It's so cope. When girls don't even want you in their social circles, bro, it's cope. Absolute cope. What is a social circle gonna do for you? And believe me, I have tried. I have tried to get girls into a social circle. So awkward. They don't have anything to say. Like it is my opinion that women do not have to develop personalities or interesting hobbies or anything of the sort because they are already inundated with a ton of attention even if they have the personality of a door hinge. That's not to say that they don't have personalities, right? It's just that unlike guys, they don't have the need to develop those things. So naturally, because of the lack of necessity, that means they're going to have it less. So that social circle cope, just no, stop that. If girls even wanted you in their circle in the first place, then this probably won't be that much of an issue to you because at least you have some kind of access. You can shoot your shot. But then again, it's not like you're gonna hit every shot anyway. But what if you do manage to get into a social group with girls anyway? That doesn't mean you know what to do there. So I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, social circle is just a cope. It's a straight cope. And while I didn't make this video to talk about social circles specifically, that is something that I hear, and I genuinely believe social circle is a cope. Like until someone can actually prove that to me, otherwise, it's a cope. It's such a cope. Man, this rant went on longer than it really should have. And on top of that, the mic volume is probably garbage too, but I'm trying, guys. It's like a $30 microphone I'm using. But I am monitoring the audio and it's not going into the red, so hopefully it's not too loud. But anyway, thank you for listening to yet another rant video. I just wanted to get that off my chest because, believe it or not, I spend my time listening to red pill and black pill content like every day. Every day. I do not sleep on that. If I'm not learning French or playing video games, I'm I'm listening to those videos. And even while playing video games, I'm listening to them. And every once in a while, I hear something that just gets on my nerves, and I'm like, bruh, I gotta talk about this. Like, when you feel that passion, you gotta let it out. That's the only way to make a video feel genuine. It is genuine. But, I don't need to tell you guys that. I'll let you be the judge of that for yourselves. But this is Cloud from Mamoon 3.0, and I bid you all farewell. Thanks for listening.